Ghost, you hear me?
I can't. I can't hear Wack though. His microphone ain't on or something.
Yeah, I can hear Wack, but
You
you
can't
can
hear
hear
me,
me,
Ghost?
right?
Yeah, I can hear
Ghost,
you now, but it sound like
I
it
hear
sound
everybody else
like
clear.
I hear
it
everybody in
sound.
there.
I
I
hear
do
Go,
everybody
too.
clear.
Ghost, did Chuck want to come in or is he good?
Huh?
Did Chuck want to come in?
Yeah, let me send him the link. Hold on.
All right,
He
good.
might be at work or something. Let me
All
send him
right,
the link though.
so Pooh Shiesty caught a case 5, 6 years ago, however long. He's been gone a few years. He's on his way home. Um, this is one of those situations that's a little touchy to me because I know him, I know his family, I know the label we signed to, but I also understand the streets and I understand these YouTubers and the narratives and what they're reading. And
Right.
sometimes there's other multiples to what you're reading. Um, Sometimes you can't just stop on the surface, especially if there's something else behind it that changes the whole narrative of what you're reading, right?
Right.
So, to my understanding, let me make sure I'm right. Um, Pooh Shiesty, there's um, there's a statement in this document that says, in this case, there was a very strong factual proffer made by the government. Okay? In the
Right.
world of the streets, when they hear proffer, right,
Hmm.
automatically assume cooperation. And I'm going to tell you why. If one goes to Google and puts in government factual proffer, the verbiage of that is a government factual proffer is a meeting between a criminal defendant or witness and the government where the defendant shares information with the government in exchange for limited immunity, right? Now, in the world of YouTube land and the world of the streets, Napoleon, for all of y'all don't know, Napoleon is Pooh Shiesty's actual legal attorney that handled his case. So he has more in-depth paperwork, more in-depth information than what I consider to be shallow, right? The words I read in the document I got from Pooh Shiesty's father, and then the definition I just gave you is a simple Google definition. Didn't
Right.
come from legal, didn't come from uh, anything like that, a DOJ, nothing like that. Now, Napoleon, um, can you, the first thing I read, I want you to authenticate, right, that that is a line in Pooh's document. In this case, there was a very strong factual proffer made by the government. And,
That's not a line in any document that I've seen. So
okay,
what
well,
you're talking about is
hold on, let me
that
get this to you, brother, because I
okay.
got this. I got this from his father, right? This document came from his father, so I want to send it to you because
Okay.
when we're done with this today, one way or another, I want it to be closure, right?
Right.
Um, we represent a movement called the Xposers, and we're not here just to expose people on bad shit, but we're here to
Hmm.
clear things up,
Right.
people. So did you see the text I just sent you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I got sent this morning from his dad. So I really want you to authenticate that that is a actual some documents from Pooh Shiesty's case.
Okay, so what you're looking at right now
Uh huh.
is that this is I don't know if this is a document in his case, but this looks like a legal filing by an attorney, and it just says in this case there was a very strong factual proffer made by the government in the appellant's sworn adoption of this proffer also clearly establishes his guilt of the killing of David Jones. Pooh Shiesty wasn't on trial for the killing of David Jones, so I don't know specifically where this
Okay.
document came from in the case I
Now,
was representing him on.
now Napoleon, this is
Mhm.
why I need his dad here,
Right.
because when I got a call this morning and woke up,
Hmm.
these are the things that was sent to me, right? And I hate to say it, but if this is a document that has nothing to do with Pooh Shiesty's case, now the question is, why did he send this to me? Because even with that verbiage, as you're looking at it,
Right.
it's not in favor of Pooh. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
So
I'm sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead, break it down. I want you to break it down to its goals.
Hmm.
Do your research, because I know you have since went and pulled everything. And let's hear the legal out, right? And then Ghost, we can have a conversation if it's something in there that there's a discrepancy with. We've already established that the form I was sent this morning from Pooh's dad is not Pooh's case. Is that right, Mr.
Okay.
Napoleon?
That's correct. So let me actually read you the factual proffer that was used in the case. It says that the United States of America and the defendant's counsel agree that had this case gone to trial, the United States would have proven the following facts, amongst other, occurred in Miami-Dade County, Southern District of Florida, and elsewhere, beyond a reasonable doubt, and that such facts are sufficient to establish the defendant's guilt to the offenses charged in the indictment. So that is a quote directly from the factual proffer in Pooh Shiesty's case and his co-defendant Bobby Brown's case. Every single defendant in federal court, if they want to plead guilty to the offense charge, they have to sign a factual proffer statement because the courts require defendants to admit to their guilt if they're pleading guilty.
Okay,
If a
Mr.
defendant
Napoleon.
will not admit to the factual proffer, the judge will force them to go to trial. So a
Okay,
factual proffer is necessary just to plead guilty in the case.
okay. So we agree that he signed a factual proffer. We can agree on that.
Of course, just like every other
Now,
defendant who pleads
okay.
guilty.
Now here's the thing. If you guys see Baby Runner pop in, bring him up. Here's the thing, right? And I know you're on the legal side.
Right.
On the street side and prison side of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before I go further, the proffer, is it sealed? Is it something that nobody can see?
See, now there you go. So you're listening. It's interesting that you
No,
use those words.
I'm asking you.
No,
I'm
I
not
know, but I want to answer that. And it's two
Go ahead.
parts to the question.
Go ahead.
Because the factual proffer for purposes of a plea is not sealed. That is a
Great.
court record. It's a public document. If
Great.
someone was cooperating with the government and gave a proper statement to the government, that document would be sealed and it's not a public record.
I'm glad you said that, because what I'm getting to is when we see safety valve or we see proffer, right?
Right.
The reason why they automatically find you guilty in the courts of the political aspects of the streets and prison is
Right.
because we can't see what you said.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So you
Mhm.
just gave me two examples of if you gave up information or snitched, right? Then
Right.
that proffer, correct me if I'm wrong, that proffer would in fact be sealed.
Correct.
Okay. This type of proffer
Mhm.
that Pooh Shiesty signed to, which you're saying your client just signed to admitting to his crime only, right?
Right. Correct.
It's available.
That's available as a public record, just like every other defendant who actually pleads guilty to a particular offense, gives a factual proffer, and takes a plea. That is a public record, and you can actually see what's written in the factual proffer. I want to correct something too. So
Okay.
there is a safety valve, and I want to. This is something
Okay,
too that
stop
people
right
need.
now.
Go
Are
ahead.
you saying, because a lot of people, we gotta know, we understand it, my panel
Right.
understands it, but we got a lot of people in the chat. So
Mhm.
you're saying Pooh Shiesty does have a safety valve?
No, I'm not saying that Pooh Shiesty has a safety valve.
Okay.
I was just about to correct your contention that if a person cooperated with the government, that's the only way you can get safety valve. People can get safety valve without cooperating with the government. Like, for example, if you're a first-time offender and you don't have the requisite criminal history points, you can get safety valve just because you don't have a criminal history. So
Well,
there are.
let me add to that.
Mm-hmm.
There's 5 stages, and I learned this from my guy, Baby Runner. There's 5 points to a safety valve. A, that you do not have a prior criminal record. B, you're not head of the criminal organization.
Correct.
C, there was no violence in the crime.
Mm-hmm.
D, you took your plea in a timely manner.
Correct.
And E, the 5th one is you cooperated with the government. Those are the 5 elements.
Right. So
by the book.
No, that's not accurate. There are plenty of people who did not cooperate with the government that are still eligible for a safety valve. So you can get a safety valve as a first-time offenders. As a matter of fact, a lot of people get safety valve for certain type of cases where it's not related to violent crimes or drugs or things like that. It's inaccurate to say that somebody got a safety valve and that means that they cooperated with the government. All that means is that. Go ahead.
We can't see what statement, and if you can you pull the document that I know you have on Pooh to show that unlike others being sealed, Pooh's statement to his statement on himself is actually available, because I'm sure you would have it, right?
Yeah, so it's on the Clerk of Court's website. I don't know if I can publicly put it on a platform because
you have a docket number.
Yeah, I do have the docket entry number. If you give me a second,
give the people the docket number. That'll suffice for it.
And I want to make something clear too. Every single defendant in this case signed the same factual proffer. Okay,
we get that.
Huh?
We get that, but it's been cases where every single defendant signed a proffer and all of them told too. So, and we're not concerned with the other ones. We just concerned personally with Pooh. He's the name. He's the one that whatever. So if you can give us that docket number, where to find it, right? That will really help everybody. So when this comes up, people could go read for themselves that Pooh's information, unlike others, right, is available. Like Blue Da Vinci, he did a safety valve, but
no, he did not get safety valve. I want to be clear about that.
No, Blue Da Vinci got a safety valve.
Oh, Blue Da Vinci. I'm sorry. I was trying to type in.
But when we go to look for the statement, is not available, right? So we do know Pooh Shiesty did not have a safety valve. He just has this stage of a proffer, but his proffer is available for people to see what he actually signed and what statement he gave. And the statement he gave was him admitting guilt for his personal crime, correct?
Exactly. That's correct.
Okay, so if you can give the people like a docket number and a location that you find it, that would definitely help us.
Give me 30 seconds. I'll tell you right now.
Gotcha.
Hey, Ghost, you looked it up?
Where's Ghost at? Is Ghost here?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Did you look it up?
Ghost, you following what
You're gonna give us
Napoleon
the website right now.
Yeah, I hear exactly what he's saying. I'm following.
Okay. All right.
And I want to go one further for y'all too, by the way.
That's what we're here for, brother.
In this particular case, there is a transcript of the sentencing hearing. Okay. So at sentencing, I can guarantee you this, that had Pooh Shiesty cooperated with the government, he will be jumping up and down about how he helped the government and all these things, and all that would be in the record of the sentencing transcript when he got sentenced to prison. But none of that is there. None of it is about him telling on somebody else. None of it is about him cooperating with the government. I was at all of the hearings, and I am telling you for a fact, nobody in this case cooperated. Pooh Shiesty didn't cooperate. His co-defendants didn't cooperate. Nobody cooperated. I'll send you the transcript of the sentencing hearing. And I don't know. I hear a backdrop. I don't know if that's me or somebody else.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll give the docket entry number for the sentencing transcript too, just in case anybody's interested in reading it. Because I'm telling you right now, there's nothing in there whatsoever. It was like, oh yeah, we cooperated with the government, so therefore we're eligible for, as you put it, the safety valve, and therefore we should get a lighter sentence.
Well,
It
let
don't
me clear that
exist.
up. Let me clear that up.
Right.
Nowhere in Pooh Shiesty's paperwork did we see phrase or term safety valve. Right?
Right.
Let's clear that up. What we
Right.
did see was, let me make sure I'm dead on spot. With this terminology, and this would spark the interest of everybody. What we did see was a government factual proffer, and that's what you're clearing up, what that really means. And the government factual proffer in Pooh Shiesty's situation, unlike other proffers, is available public record where you can actually see everything that was said and everything that was agreed upon and signed off by Pooh Shiesty. Am I correct?
That's correct.
There we have it. So, he's going to provide the docket number and the location to everybody down in the Google, to everybody out here in blogger land, YouTube land. So that way, when this young man come home, right, he can jumpstart, get back to his career, his family, his loved ones, and he don't have to deal with this. We're here to either show that he did wrong or show that he did nothing wrong. So his attorney is here, Mr. Napoleon. That is his attorney that saw through the whole case, and he's providing the actual docket numbers. He's providing the location where you can go see this form of Pooh Shiesty proffer. And what he's stating is that Pooh Shiesty only gave information admitting to his guilt on this particular crime, not involving anybody else. Am I right, Mr. Napoleon?
Correct. And I just want to make sure that something is clear too. So what it actually says is that the United States, the defendant and defendant's counsel agree that had this case gone to trial, the United States would have been able to prove the following facts that are sufficient to establish the defendant's guilt to the offenses charged in the indictment. So I just want to make sure that this is not a statement that anyone gave to the government. Nobody in this case, none of the defendants sat down and talked to the government. This document was prepared by the government, that was reviewed by counsel, all of us, and we agreed, all of the defendants, that this is the factual proffer for everybody. So it begs the question, who did he snitch on if everybody signed this same factual proffer? Everybody has the same one. Everybody.
I got a question. So did he tell on another case? Because why would the daddy send Wack 100 some other paperwork?
That has nothing. I can tell you right now. Listen, there were a lot of cases or a lot of incidents that the government was trying to link him to. Okay, this has nothing. The only conviction that he has is in this particular case. There are no other cases. I don't know why he would send this particular document. I don't know if he sent that as an example to show what a factual proffer is.
No,
but
that's sweetie. He's saying that because of he basically saying he snitched to get a lower time or cooperate with the case that you're proving right now.
No,
right.
Well,
listen.
He sent it. Let me make sure, because I was the one on the phone with him. He sent it because we were using the terminology proffer, right, Napoleon?
Right.
And he was like, no, it was a government factual proffer, meaning this was the information that the government gathered, right, and presented. So when they went and defined government factual proffer, the definition of the government factual proffer said something totally different, right? So at that point is when he got you on the phone, right? So I said, you know what? Let's just clear it up. You can put all the documents. And have you found the
I have. So the factual
number?
proffer was given on January 4th of 2022. Is docket entry number 154.
Okay, and where could the people find that?
Well, you have to have access to the federal court's online system. So anyone who has a lawyer that is licensed to practice in federal court can pull that up.
Well, can I ask you something?
Yes,
Since
sir.
our since your purpose is here to clear up, right?
Hmm.
This misconception of what
Right.
this type of proffer is. Will
Hmm.
you be willing to provide the documents so we can just let people notice what it is?
Right. So, like I told you before, I have to be careful about what I can and cannot provide, especially on from the government's database. But I'll tell you this: we ordered the sentencing hearing transcripts. We paid for that out of our own money. Okay, so
Okay.
I can provide you with the sentencing hearing transcripts where you could see
No,
for
no,
yourself.
but sweetie, you have to understand. You have
Hold
to provide every single thing.
No, what
So
I'm saying,
how can we go on record and saying that he did not tell if we only could give half of it? We need the full
so
thing.
what
Okay,
I'm
why don't you
saying
do
is
this? Turn off the live. I'll show it to you. I just don't want me putting it
no,
on the
no, no.
live.
Listen.
Go ahead.
This is me, right? I'm
Right.
asking you, right?
Right.
The document that Pooh
Hmm.
Shiesty gave the factual proffer on
Right.
about his involvement only,
Correct.
right? Being clear,
Hmm.
right? Could you provide me with that document, right? Me personally, so I can, it doesn't have to be
Yes.
right now, it could be after
Yes.
we're done, because
Yes.
what I'm saying is if it's in favor of Pooh, then I don't think that should be a problem.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
No, of course.
Okay, great.
Right.
All right, so we'll handle that
And,
after the
and I'm
fact.
telling you, I will one up you. I will give you the full sentencing transcript where you can see for yourself. I'm on there, Sam Zangane's on there, Brad Cohen is on there. We were a team together that represented these individuals.
Gotcha.
Nobody is going to say that they should have received a lower sentence because they cooperated with the government. This is the sentencing
Did he
hearing.
get the mandatory minimum or did he get below?
So the government was basically trying to make this into a Hobbs Act robbery. They wanted him to go to jail for 20 years. So what we did is we flew to Memphis. We went to all these other places to make sure that we understood all the different cases, all the different events that they were trying to tie them to. And so we did our homework, we did our due diligence, and we got a very, very good result for all of the individuals who were involved. They tried to throw the book at him. If you look at his indictment, and if you look at the counts of the indictment, and if you look at some of the other things that the government filed and what they were trying to give him, it's telling. Okay, it's very telling.
So Napoleon, what I'm asking, right, is
Mhm.
this for what you guys end up what his charges, his bottom line charges were, right?
Right.
Did he get below his
Below.
mandatory minimum or did he get mandatory minimum and above? Like what was
There
his
was no
mandatory
mandatory.
minimum?
There was no mandatory minimum. The way that it happened is that he pled guilty to one specific count in the indictment that did not have a minimum mandatory sentence. So
Gotcha.
therefore, the federal sentencing guidelines kick in, and you get to argue about what the guideline range should be.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. What range did he fall into? Don't mind me asking.
Well, what the government suggested or what we suggested?
No,
What did he
what
get?
what
Did
is
he get
bottom
less
line?
time than everybody on the case?
No,
No.
so what I'm asking you, Napoleon, is usually they'll say, okay, mandatory minimum 60 months, and it can range up to um 98 months. I'm just giving
Right.
an
So what you're
example,
talking
right?
about is the guideline range.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so if you give me 1 second, I'm going to explain the charge that he pled guilty to and what the government suggested the guideline range should be, and then what we ultimately proved the guideline range was. And it's going to be important so that I can explain the distinction to you.
Okay,
Okay, so
great.
just give me 1 second. Let me pull it up.
No problem. Go. Did Baby Runner come in here?
I didn't see him.
Okay. Um, and to Big Bank Hank. Wack looking crazy because the lawyer's shooting down every point he's trying to make. Wack's not trying to make any points. Wack is asking the questions that the people are asking because I have legal here that can clear up more than just a blogger or some guy sitting at the corner store. So that's what Wack's asking. So that way we can cover it A to Z and leave no stone unturned. That way when we leave this situation, that young man come home, whatever the outcome is of the answers and the documents provided is what it is. That's my stance in this whole situation. Um,
Give me 2
Ghost.
seconds. I'm pulling it up right now. I'm
Okay.
scrolling down because there was a lot of documents that were filed in this case, and we had to combat a lot of information. So I'm scrolling to try to get to the right portion. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, so to anybody watching, like Wack said, we're here to just get the truth, whether it be to help someone or not. It ain't biased. It's not against nobody. We actually got his family and his team here. So we just want the truth. That's it.
That way, everybody in the world that's speaking a lie, they can come back to this link and they can hear the truth. And pretty sure whatever question or whatever somebody's saying, the attorney, Mr. Napoleon, he would have been asked that question and you would have heard him answer it and then give direction on where you can go look for it, look at it yourself. That's all
Okay.
it's about.
So let me explain to you how everything worked. So there was a superseding indictment that charged him with several different counts. Everybody with several different counts. Hobbs Act robbery, conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery, and all these other things. We were going to trial. We were preparing for trial. We flew to Memphis. We flew to all these different places because the government was trying to get us to plead to something that we just were not going to do. They were, what, 22 years old around that age at the time, and spending 20 years of your life in jail just didn't make any sense. So as a compromise, the government offered everybody in this case to plead to one count of conspiracy to possess firearms in furtherance of a violent and drug trafficking crime. Okay, so that's what they actually pled guilty to. Now, that particular portion of the United States Code or that particular crime does not have a specific offense level. Okay, so what does that mean? You have to look at the facts and the circumstances of the case to determine what the guideline range should be. The government was trying to hold Bobby Brown, Pooh, Shiesty, and everybody else to the firearms conspiracy charge in furtherance of an attempted murder. All right. The government was trying to say that the applicable guideline range should be 97 months. Now, again, there's no minimum mandatory penalty, but they were saying that the guideline range should be 97 months. We argued that it was not a robbery. This, at best, was an aggravated assault. And we said that the guideline range should have a lower offense level based on the fact that this is an aggravated assault. If you look at the sentencing hearing transcripts, the judge ultimately agreed with us after looking at the video that this was not a robbery. This was an aggravated assault. So therefore, the guideline range substantially decreased down to approximately 46 months, and that's what the judge sentenced them to. The government was asking for a whole lot in the beginning. They changed their position, dropped down, and then the judge still ultimately agreed with us that the guideline range should be lower than what the government was suggesting because you got to get you a paid lawyer, and that's what happens when you do.
So at the end of the day, the 97 months after you guys argued what certain charges shouldn't be, what did it come down to?
To the 46 months. Actually, Pooh's was a little bit higher because he had two offenses that were on camera, and the judge found that it was a aggravated assault for the incident in Bay Harbor Islands, and then also the one that was in the Gentlemen's Club.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember both. I'm definitely
Right.
the Gentleman's Club. The Gentleman's Club was a firearm situation, correct?
Correct.
And the harbor one was uh, allegedly a robbery, and I think they used some type of video or picture to identify the serial number of on the money. Right? Am I right?
Yeah, so some 40 who left $40,000 behind, and that's what we argued. We said, Judge, if this was a robbery, why would he leave $40,000 and priceless music that he actually had in his bag that he recorded behind? This clearly was a situation that got out of control, and the reality of it is that the people who he supposedly robbed actually had firearms on them. A shot went off. Nobody knows what happened, and then bullets started flying. So we said, Judge, this wasn't a robbery. Who goes to a robbery in a green McLaren with $40,000 in priceless music in your bag and rob somebody over some gym shoes and some weed? That's stupid.
Without a shiesty mask.
Right, exactly.
Without a shiesty mask.
Right. Without a
You
shiesty
know.
mask, that's dumb. Like that's just stupid. So, and the judge, as conservative as he is, actually agreed with us. He said this isn't a robbery, and so that's why he sentenced him to the lower guideline range.
So he got sentenced to the lower guideline range. But in this
Correct.
situation case, to make sure I'm hearing it right,
Hmm.
there was not a mandatory minimum, as was 46 the minimum.
No, there was no minimum mandatory penalty. The judge, listen, the judge could have went below the guideline range if he wanted to. He just chose not to because most of the time judges sentence within the guideline range. But there was no departure, or he didn't get departure rather. He didn't get some type of special treatment for cooperation. It's nowhere in the sentencing transcripts. It did not happen.
So everybody that's just pulling up, Mr. Napoleon is Pooh Shiesty's legal. We got Loose Cannon 600. Ghost, the exposers on deck on the panel. We're here to clear up the governmental proffer that's stated and stipulated in Pooh Shiesty's paperwork. The attorney is showing us and giving us guidance to where we can go find his paperwork. He's going to send it to me to where we can actually see what Pooh Shiesty signed for, what he agreed to, um, which was anything and everything that has something to do with his involvement in these two crimes. One being the gun situation at a club, another being attempted robbery or shooting at another location, right? So he's providing um, and showing us that that's not a sealed document, that is
Right.
in fact available for the public. He's offering to send that as well as other documents to me, which I will provide, um, and to show that this type of proffer, did not involve him giving information on everybody else. It was simply him pleading out to what he was going to plead guilty to. Am I on point,
You are
Napoleon?
on point with that. I just want to add one little caveat to that. There may be other people's names like Bobby Brown and Jayden DeRosa that was in there and it had information that they had. They had to put that in there for the link to this quote unquote conspiracy. But remember, everybody
I'll
signed the
stop
same.
right there.
Go ahead.
Did Pooh precisely, did he collaborate things about these people's names?
No, there he never,
I'm,
never,
I'm,
he
I'm
never.
just, I'm asking you the question.
Right.
When you say these things, I know what they're thinking, so I got to clear them up as we go, right?
Okay, so let me be crystal clear. Nobody, Pooh Shiesty, Bobby Brown, or Jayden DeRosa sat down with the government. Nobody. Okay. The government gave everybody basically the same factual proffer statement. Okay. And what I mean by that, the factual proffer that every defendant has to take so that they are eligible to plead guilty to a crime. Okay. So the proffer statement that I'm talking about is a public record that he needed to sign so that he could plead guilty. If he didn't sign it, he couldn't plead guilty and he would basically be forced to go to trial. So what I'm explaining to you is that when you see people's names in there, you're going to see the only other names you're going to see are the people that were pleading guilty with him. So everybody pled guilty, and everybody got the same factual proffer. And those three people who was his co-conspirators, that was their name, but they were sitting right next to him when they all signed it together. So it's not like they told on somebody. They all agreed that this is what happened, and they were all there together at that particular point in time. You're muted.
So
Wack,
when
you're
you
mute.
say that they all agreed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you telling me that each individual only agreed to what they did? None of these individuals, especially Pooh Shiesty, collaborated the government's or law enforcement's charges against anyone else other than himself.
What I'm telling you is that's correct. But it's even more important to point out the fact that he didn't agree to anything. He just agreed that if we were to go to trial, it's essentially saying that's what the government is saying that they're going to prove. Okay? That's what it is.
600, you got some questions?
Not too many questions. I think this kind of like sums up a little bit. I do want to give a shout out to Pooh because months back he posted a picture of him and some guys, and he put a rat over somebody. And for his age group and his era, I thought that was a big step because a lot of dudes in that era don't really speak like that or actually show that stuff on social media. So I gave him a shout out for that. All this stuff has been a lot of speculation for me. I never really saw nothing too concrete, but I'm glad that we got his lawyer to kind of like, give us some closure, even without those documents.
Right.
I think it's a better understanding, for him and his fans to see that. I think from what I came from this is that he just basically spoke up for himself,
Right.
pled guilty for himself,
Right.
to get it out the way.
That's exactly.
If no one else is implicated in it, and what he said, I think
Yeah,
he'll be okay if he cares
I know,
about being
but
okay.
listen, what I just found out is that he's in other people's paperwork.
But whose
He,
paperwork are you suggesting? Who you saying he's in? Because if we
he's
don't,
in his co-defendant paperwork. Shoot, like, he just said that the time that he was supposed to get, the recommended time is 20 years. Pooh Shiesty only got 4.
no, he said that's what he was facing, and I
No,
believe
that was the time. That's the bare minimum.
No,
no.
Are you talking about Jaden DeRosa?
Yeah, Pooh
He did not
Shiesty
get 20
was in
years.
papers. No, Pooh Shiesty was in his paperwork. His name with a statement. Can you clear that up?
Okay, so and this is what I was trying to explain to you. Okay, if Pooh Shiesty is in Jaden DeRosa's paperwork, that doesn't mean that Pooh Shiesty sat down and talked to somebody. All that means is that Jaden DeRosa, what he's trying to do, Jaden DeRosa is basically trying to say, why did I get sentenced? I think he got sentenced to 8 years when Pooh Shiesty got sentenced to 4 or 5. That's what Jaden
He got
DeRosa
sent.
was doing. Go
Okay,
ahead.
Listen,
when you say
I
that
got
Pooh
him in the
Shiesty's in
background.
the paperwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Are you saying
with a
that?
statement.
Are you saying that there's a statement where it says whatever Pooh Shiesty's first and last name says, such and such individuals confirms or says this
No.
individual? If so, Ghost is Ghost in here?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Ghost, what is it that Luke? Are you seeing any of this, or what is it that you're seeing? So we can clear this up, or
What I
one way
see,
or another.
what I see, and this is what I wanted to ask the attorney is in that factual proffer, right? Those
Yeah.
when Autumn did that factual proffer and the statements that's in that factual proffer where they're admitting each other's names about the crimes that they did or whatever, right? About the crime that they committed, right? When they went for their sentencing to accept that plea, did they have to admit to that stuff and say those people names as well?
Never.
So
Never.
so
That's
so
what I'm
did it
trying to explain to
when
y'all.
the judge read that out, did they have to agree to it or anything like that?
No.
They didn't have to
Listen,
agree.
I'm gonna
They didn't
send
have
you
to
the
agree to
sentence.
none of those facts. That's what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that the factual proffer that the government put, they gave everybody the same thing. So let's just say, for example,
No,
that
Pooh
all
Shiesty, nobody name will be in somebody's paperwork, sweetheart.
I'm not
Nobody.
your sweetheart, but I'm just telling you,
Yeah,
like,
listen,
Luke, this is the
I'm
attorney.
I'm
Let's
letting you
address
know
it.
right now that nobody name will be in somebody's paperwork, and
you don't know what you're
that's
talking
facts.
about. So let me explain to you,
No,
because
that's
if you let me
facts.
finish, go
Let him
ahead. Let me tell
talk.
you
Let him
facts.
talk.
So
Let him
wax.
talk.
This is what it is. Okay, me, you, and 600. Right? We go and we rob a McDonald's. It's on camera. Okay, they got the camera showing that we all robbed it. Right? And then we like, you know what? We ain't about to go to trial. We're just gonna go and we're gonna take our plea and we just gonna argue what our sentence should be. The government present me, you, and 600 a piece of paper saying on this particular day, y'all three people went there and you agreed that if we went to trial, that's what we would prove, right? And you got a video of it. Is that telling on somebody? Is that having somebody in
Well,
somebody's
me
paperwork?
personally,
Yes,
yeah, me
yes.
personally, right? The only thing I'm going to collaborate is what I did. I can look at a video of you and 600, and if they say, is that 600 and that Napoleon? No answer. I'm going to
Right.
say, that's me in the red
No,
hoodie.
So let
Yeah,
me ask you a
that's,
question.
yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If 600 is right next to you and he say, "Yeah, that's me," are you snitching after 600 just said that, "Yeah, that's me"?
I'm never,
so
listen,
you
Yes, that's
here,
the
yeah,
thing.
in our world, right? In our world, right? In our world outside of the courts, right? This unorthodox world. If
Right.
you give a statement on anybody other than yourself, they're gonna call it telling, right? And see,
Right.
this is where the word proffer comes in because when we hear proffer, we hear cooperating with the government, right?
Nah.
Now, I think what you're trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong,
Right.
you're trying to say these three individuals, whether speaking through you or the attorney speaking with each other,
Mm-hmm.
all agreed to take the plea as structured. Is that what you're
Exactly.
that's
Correct.
what you're
no
trying to say, right?
Pooh Shiesty pointed the dude out, and
What?
that's facts.
Where is that
You
That's
at?
show me.
facts.
How about this? I'll put up
Listen,
my legal
it's a
fees. You
sealed
put up my
document.
legal
Hey,
fees.
the
No,
dude is
listen to me.
texting
Listen
me
to
right
me.
now. Dead
You
homie.
put up you. I'll put up my legal fees. You put up the money that I got paid. I'm gonna show you all the paperwork, and I want you to. I
Okay,
want you to show me that.
Okay,
show the world
Napoleon,
the
what's
paperwork
the
right now.
Napoleon? What's the
No, you're not. No, you're
no,
not.
Napoleon? What's the legal?
Show the
How
world the
much? What's the
paperwork.
legal fees of the documents? Because at this point, right, either this whole situation is going to be worth something to where we clear it based upon what
Right.
we can see. Because what you've just said, and I want you to come down a little bit, right, and understand what I'm saying. When they say the word cooperating or snitching,
Mm-hmm.
right, they're going to say when you give any information on anybody other than yourself. And this is why it's a real thin line, right? When it comes down to your codees and all y'all saying, we're going to all disagree to this because we got this one individual I'm hearing that got 8 years who's questioning if we're all agreeing to this, then why did I get 8 and he get 4, right?
Facts.
And I think that's the where the discrepancy is at. I
You want to
understand
know the
what you're
answer to
saying.
that?
No, I understand what you're saying. So my question to you is, was there other attorneys that represent the other two individuals, or did you oversee all?
So I represented me, Brad Cohen, and Sam Zangane represented Pooh Shiesty. Jaden
Gotcha.
DeRosa did not. He didn't. He had a appointed attorney. Okay, his attorney did not come out to the places that we went to. And I want to clear something up because what you're insinuating is that somebody sat down with the government. Nobody sat down with the
That's
government
not
and told.
that's
Oh, oh,
that's not that's not
listen,
what he's
yeah.
saying.
So
Yeah,
you
That's not
telling
what
me
he
that
that's not the
all of
point he's
them was
making.
in
That's
a
not the point he's
so
making at
all
Hold
of
all.
on,
them
everybody can't talk at once. Go ahead,
okay,
Luke,
so
and then you
look,
go.
okay, so in the room getting questioned, they showed the video and everybody agreed that was them. That's what you're saying, right?
No, 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 no. See, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Nobody said when that video was playing in court, nobody was like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's that person. Y'all know it. If y'all saw the video, there were people that were in that video that never got pointed out. Nothing ever got said about them, even though we know who they are. Nobody ever pointed to nobody. Nobody ever
Okay,
said
then
anything. That's what
why Pooh Shiesty name is in his paperwork then?
okay, well, why is Pooh Shiesty? What does that mean that he told on Pooh Shiesty? Is that what you're saying now?
Okay, then
Because the Pooh Shiesty name is in
no,
his
no, no,
paperwork.
no. Pooh Pooh Shiesty, his name is not in Pooh Shiesty paperwork because y'all try to separate the separate him from the case.
I don't know what you're. So when you say that Pooh Shiesty's
Y'all
name is
try
in
to
Pooh's
separate
paperwork,
it Pooh Shiesty from the rest of them.
that's not what happened. I'm telling you, that's
No,
not what happened.
y'all
That
tried
couldn't have
to.
been what happened because you saying if they all see for that to happen, that debunks what you say happened. You telling me all three of the defendants agreed to the deal that was offered, but
They
all
all
three
agreed to plead guilty.
okay, but all three get different sentencing or we know
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
so one guy got 8, Pooh got 4, what the other guy get?
No, Pooh got 5, and Bobby Brown got 4.
So 4, 5, and 8. Pooh got the mid. He's
Right.
the guy in the middle. Okay, so but you're saying that all three Cody's, I'm gonna make sure I'm right, agreed to give statement or sign off on what they all did collectively.
What I'm pretty much that's how you have to do it. It's not that they all they told on each other. You're sitting in this is how it works. You got 3 people sitting in a room, okay? Sitting in front of a judge. And then the question is, are you going to agree to be plead guilty? And are you going to agree that if this case goes to trial, this is what the government says that they're going to prove? Are you
Okay,
in agreement with that?
now Napoleon, I need you to understand this. We
Right.
understand what the government want to do,
Right.
right? And if this was goddamn Bow Wow or somebody, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But we also understand what the politics of the streets say we can't do.
Right.
And I think this is
So,
that thin line. And I want you to hear this unorthodox,
right.
irrational way of shit, right?
Listen, bro, I grew
Okay,
up in Detroit in the 80s, so I get it. I know I got
you
on the
get
suit
what
and
I'm
all that
saying,
other
right?
stuff, but I
You get
understand
what
what
I'm
you're
saying.
saying.
So what you're saying is, look, my client and the other 2 clients all came together because the government is saying we are willing to give you 8, you 5, and you 4 if all 3 of you guys agree to these terms and to the details of this document. On that document, it not only spelled out what Pooh Shiesty's involvement was, but it spelled out what the other 2 people's involvement was. Am I right?
And those other 2 people were there, but I want to clear something up really
No, no, no.
quickly
I just no, no,
because you
no.
don't get sentenced at the time that you agree to this document. So
No, I
those are
understand that. I understand
right.
that. This is what's being offered. So the other 2 individuals signed the same document, right?
Everybody signed the same document.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say this, right? And I might be a little out of line for it. And Ghost, Loose, 600, everybody on it, y'all call me out on it. It is what it is, right? How I'm seeing this is me, 600 and Loose, we got caught doing the robbery. Nigga, we looking at 20s. Legal that came together. Because of your criminal history, you looking at 8. Because of yours, you looking at 4. Because of mine, I'm looking at 5. We reading it. It says 600 was the driver, Loose was a gunman, and Wack, you gave the order on my paperwork. On 600 paperwork, it reads the same. On Loose paperwork, it reads the same, right? Now,
Right.
we know, according to the streets, that when we sign this document and
Before you
anybody
go into the
sees,
streets, I'm about to say the rest, and then we'll say the street later.
yeah, yeah, look, according to the streets, if anybody sees this document I signed with the word proffer in any way tied to it, they're going to say, I signed a document giving involvement on other people other than myself. Am I right?
Facts.
But All three of us have agreed. Fuck it, bro. If this would it take for us to get the 8, the 5, and the 4, right? You cool with it? I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. We sign it,
Right.
right? And the reason why I'm saying this, right? And once I say this, it's gonna open up all kind of doors and windows. Now I'm asking you, Loose, and 600, and you, Ghost, and other individuals in here. If we all agree to it, right? And these some young niggas, was they snitching on each other or was they in support of what they were signing, knowing that everybody's documents had the other names on it?
Okay, look, listen. First of all, we're gonna go to trial because if we was all
No,
in
no,
the,
no.
the
But see, that
same,
ain't the
No,
situation.
he asked a question.
That ain't the situation, Luz. We talking about what this is. We know what we gonna do. It ain't even a. I'm gonna tell you, sign it. I'm not signing shit until
So
it
I'm gonna go
say
first.
That's
Cash
bullshit
Joe.
when you facing life
So
and they
I'm gonna
got
go
that shit
first.
on camera. People
So
can talk all that tough shit
No,
they
no,
want
no,
to,
Napoleon.
but
I
I'm
I've
hear
just
you.
been
saying
And
there,
when you
done
on
that.
camera and everybody like fuck that, we ain't going to trial.
no,
You
Napoleon,
gonna sign that paperwork.
Napoleon. I
Napoleon,
hear you, and I'm trying to
Yeah,
you
they
kill.
coming from a
told, they
civilian
Hold on.
told
standpoint though.
already.
You
I'm
supposed to
trying to
think
Like
like
kill
that,
that,
man.
two
Get
Napoleon.
out
birds
of
with
here,
one
bro.
stone
one
Bro,
right
time.
now, right?
bro, get out
I'm
of
trying
here.
to kill Napoleon. Walk with me, right? I'm trying
Yeah,
to kill two birds with one stone.
right.
600. How do you see that? We all know, all three of our attorneys can talk to each other. We all know that all our names are in all our documents, and we got to sign this to avoid the dub. And all of us, I said, Luke, what's happening? Fuck it, I'm signing it. You sign it. We sign it. Okay, cool. Right?
So if we all
Six.
did that, we all snitched on each other according to the street rules, and that's
That's
just
a
how
fact.
it is.
That's a fact.
Now, if that's what happened, this hypothetical story that we just made up, if that's based on what they did, they told, and it is just what it is. Now, they probably won't get too much pressure from regular people because they was all in agreements. They'll
Yeah.
get
Now,
what
if
you
one
call
of
a
them
pass. Like,
people, I will tell you this, Napoleon, if one of them people get out of jail and say that ain't how it happened, it debunks everything. Now, outside of that, I'm gonna go to what you were saying, Napoleon.
Right.
Motherfucker, you looking at 20 years, 30 years, and all
No,
three of y'all
life.
life, and all three of y'all gotta agree to this, and they're documenting it the way they're documenting it for
And it's on
their own
camera. And
reasons.
it's on camera.
Yeah, and for their own reasons, I'm gonna say this, and I think I'm gonna leave a bad taste in people's mouth because I've revisited a lot of things when it comes to the streets, and as we all have, um, maybe some of this shit as stipulated, some of these things might need to be refreshing and revisited to where if two crimies are in agreement to sign a document with both their names on it, which we would see as, well, you told on him, right? And you told on him, but they're doing it to avoid a life sentence of 20 years, and both people are in agreement. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, bro. Maybe some of this shit need to be revisited and redetermined on really what that means.
so let me just say something. Like I was saying, I would just give you a straight answer based on the
Yeah,
streets.
yeah,
Me personally, I wouldn't be mad at those individuals if they all in agreements. If they all in agreement for that, I wouldn't persecute. I wouldn't say y'all snitched on each other. They all in agreements to get up out of this the best way we can. If they know they all caught dead bang. Now, me personally, I don't want to even be in them questions. I don't want to be in allegations. I would separate
yeah.
myself from the case. I don't know nothing. I don't know who that is. Give me what you gonna give me. But that's
Loose.
what you sign up for when you sign
Yeah,
up for this street
for
stuff.
these streets. And this is why we tell the youth, Napoleon, me personally, everybody on this panel, hey, don't get involved in these streets because the rules is unorthodox. They don't make sense when it comes to certain things. You from Detroit, so you get it, right?
Right.
You're in a lose-lose situation.
You're in a
Let me
lose. How do you see it? Me, you, and 600, we looking at 50. They said, all right, we'll give you all 10, but all y'all gotta agree to this document, and on it say, I gave instructions, 600 was the driver, you was the gunman on your document. On my document, it reads the same. On 600 document, it reads the same.
Right.
All our attorneys is talking to each other through us. Loose Cannon said, if you would it, he would it. 600 said, Wack said, you would it, he would it. To avoid the trial facing life, y'all get the 10, y'all go upstate.
Right.
What's your feeling on that?
Okay, so
My
you're
feeling,
asking me?
my
Loose.
Oh,
no. Okay, my feeling would be like I'm not being in nobody's paperwork. So if we
Got
can't get it, if we can't
We going to
figure it
trial.
out, it's trial.
Got
That's
you.
it.
Got you. Okay, go ahead, Napoleon.
yeah. But see, here's the thing. I hear what you're saying. Okay, I understand it. But and it's easy for you to say that when you sitting out here in your car and you just chilling. But the
But hold on,
reality
I've
of
been
Willie.
in
it,
those situations.
Hold
There's
on.
okay. So let me ask you
everybody
I've
a
on
been
here.
to
question.
the pen.
Let,
I've
let me
been
Let me just
shot.
right.
I've been through all that.
okay.
Okay.
Let me
Go
just
ahead.
say this.
I'm
Let's
gonna
not
let you go
say.
ahead.
Let's
Let
just
him
not
finish.
say what.
Let him finish.
Oh,
Let him
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna finish. I'm not gonna forget what I'm gonna
go ahead.
say. Go ahead.
okay. So let's just say let's forget about if we in this situation or not. In those documents, the Pooh documents, is that what happened? They all
What do you
agreed that
mean?
they were all. Did they all agree they were all involved?
It was on camera.
Okay,
It was
I'm not
on
asking what was on
camera.
camera.
Okay,
I don't care
Napoleon,
about.
let me explain
He's
something to you.
We're
missing
not
Right.
This
that.
is
asking
He's
what
what's
not
on
you're
telling
dealing
camera.
you
with,
that.
Napoleon. Hold
Right.
on, this is what
But
you're dealing with.
I'm gonna answer a question.
Napoleon,
I know
if
what he's
our
asking.
wives walked in and saw us fucking a woman, and she gave us the opportunity to get dressed and walk out to get in the car and leave, we're gonna tell our wife that wasn't us.
No,
This
I
is what
understand
Facts.
you're
that.
dealing with,
Right.
right? So
Right.
whether it's on camera or not, right? We are trained and we are committed to these politics to say all
Thank you
we
for our
see
grades.
is us, right?
Right.
This is
Right.
the streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm gonna say something at closing when we get to that point, and I'm just gonna
Let me
stand on what
can
I'm
I
saying.
ask can I finish the question? What you actually asked me before? Okay. So your question is if everybody's paperwork says the exact same thing, and this is a very, very important point. Okay.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
something that y'all have to understand about this particular case. Nobody else's name is in that paperwork. Nobody else's name that's not sitting right there is in that paperwork whatsoever. So if you're saying, and I'm gonna be 100. Listen, I'm trying not to, I hear what people are saying about like people paperwork and things like that, but you're talking about something very, very different. You're talking about a piece of paper that is prepared by the government where they're saying that if they were to go to trial, this is what they're saying that they would be able to prove. Okay? It's
Did
not that
So that's
you're
okay to
saying it,
snitch.
huh?
Okay.
Let me ask you a question though. Let me ask you a question real quick. All right, so the dude who got shot, right? What happened to him?
He testified at the sentencing hearing.
Okay, because in that paperwork, right? Another thing that's in that factual proffer is they admitting that they was going to buy drugs from him, right? They admitted that,
No,
right?
no, that's
In the
not in the
fact,
paperwork.
in the factual proffer, it says that.
No,
It says
I
they
mean,
went to buy.
it's
It says they went to purchase marijuana and codeine.
in the factual proffer. Let me
Yeah,
pull it up.
yeah.
You the attorney. You should know.
So, like I was saying, why you pull that up, right?
Like
If that's the
600.
case, if
Are
they
y'all
all
really
agree to
are
that,
y'all really playing games with this? Cuz he's the
no.
no,
attorney. He
no,
knows.
go,
I'm just
go,
making it
listen.
simple. I'm just
Loose,
making it
Ghost just
simple
put
for
it in
people to.
front of him, so he got to go get it. Like Ghost,
Yeah.
Ghost
So,
got
so,
the
so while
paperwork.
he's getting that, I'm just saying this. Um, if that's just the messed up rules that we got involved in the street stuff. They were trying to get the best deal for themselves and in agreements to that. So they say, okay, cool. We're not telling nobody else. We caught dead bang. We're gonna agree to this and get the best deal.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm not caught dead bang
I'm
if
not.
they got a
I'm not
video
saying
camera.
you.
I'm not
That's.
pointing myself out. Like,
I'm
come
just
on.
putting
Nobody
everything
pointed.
You
on the
gonna point
Nobody
table.
had to
yourself
say
out and be like,
No,
anything.
oh
no,
yeah,
no,
these was the
Well,
other
Loose,
two?
hold on, Loose. Let me
no,
correct you in
loose.
that.
I'm just putting
You
everything
take
on the
cop to
table.
what you did and be good, right? But the minute you say, yeah, he did this, he did that,
That's
and I
not what
did
happened.
this,
That's not what happened.
Okay, no,
Okay,
we just have
the only way we can get to the bottom of this is this. We got to get the actual document of what they agreed to.
well,
That's the only way we
Well,
can
no,
stop
he's
it.
sending that. Ghost has
Okay.
the other
Right.
documents, and Napoleon. I want to touch base
Tell me
with
what.
what he's
Give me
saying.
tell him to give me a docket entry number. How about that?
Hold
Because I
on.
got the case pulled up. Since you got a document, give me the docket entry number.
Hold on.
I'm sorry, not yet.
Is that work you saying, Ghost?
That's that. Yeah, that's it.
So while they're
United
finding
States
that,
of America versus Latrell
Napoleon,
Williams Robert.
Yep, that's it.
while they're finding
That's
that,
his factual
Case
proffer, and
number
that's his plea agreement.
21. Hold on 1 second. 21-20357-CR-Moore/Lewis is what
Right.
that is, Napoleon.
That's the case number, and the Moore is the judge.
Okay, what else do you want on that? I'm just giving
Well,
it.
I want to know that it should say DE something. At the top of it, it should say docket entry number something. D period E period. Then it should have a number on it.
Hey, case number, defendant number, factual. This is the factual proffer I'm looking at. Enter on FLDS docket. That's not it. Hold on. Here, let me send this to you, brother. I'm just gonna send it to you so you have it. You ain't gotta be.
Does it say document number at the top?
I'm about to send it to you right now.
All right.
You get that?
Hold on 1 second. You texted to me or you?
I
got it. Hold on 1 second.
I'm gonna send you another one. Ghost, that's those 2 PDFs you sent earlier, right?
Yeah, that's both of them. Yep.
There you have it. Lewis, let me send it to you in 600 so y'all have it.
all right. But yeah,
Did the
Napoleon, it's
I got it. Right. I got it.
Did the victim who got shot, did he ever get charged at all with anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. And do you see the victim's name in this factual proffer? Nope.
Nah, the victim name definitely ain't in there.
Right. Do you see anybody else's name other than the 3 people who got together and was like, we ain't going to trial on this shit? Nope.
So let me clear this up, Napoleon. You're saying even in their agreement paperwork not to go to trial, the other 2 people names was not in Pooh's paperwork.
What other 2 people?
The other 2 is Cody's.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm just telling you that there's nobody's name in the paperwork except the people who agreed that we ain't going to trial.
So that's the Cody's and Pooh. They're
So let me
all
ask
in
you a
each
question.
other's paperwork is what I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question really quickly.
Okay.
Did you see the video?
Definitely, yeah, I saw the video.
How many people were there?
It was more than 3 people.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think that the government was interested in figuring out who those people were?
No, they was interested in Pooh and who was with him.
Okay. And who was with Pooh? How many people?
I can't tell you how many of them people was actually with him and wasn't with him.
Okay. And then how many people were with the other people? It was at least 10 people out there, right?
It was about 10 people out there, yeah.
Okay, so if it's 10 people out there and he supposedly snitched, what happened to those other people? Why they didn't get charged? If he told on everybody.
Did he know their identity?
Okay, Napoleon.
Come on, bro.
Are we on trial?
Napoleon, I don't think no one's saying that he told on everybody. It's kind
No,
of
we're
like,
not
you know,
saying
yeah, I don't think that
we're
no
not
one's
saying
he
that.
told on everybody.
What we're trying to clear up is the proper word in his paperwork. And we're trying to clear it as if what you're telling us that it was the word was used on the government side of what they found out.
Of what they believe that they were going to prove at trial. That is
Exactly.
literally what it says. You agree that the government would thinks that they can prove these particular facts at trial. And let me clear something up. Let me be crystal clear. If what you're saying is, according to y'all, nobody can plead guilty if they have a code deed. In other words, because I'm telling you, I've been doing this for 20
No,
years.
no, no. What I'm saying is, if you from these streets, your guilty plea
That's
cannot involve you giving information on anybody other than yourself.
they didn't give information. They never talked to the government. They never sat down with the government. It was this is what the government claimed that they were going to prove. And this is a very important point. They never gave these names. It's not like they were like, oh yeah, that's Bobby Brown right there. Oh yeah, that's Pooh Shiesty right there. Oh yeah, that's Jaden DeRosa. That never happened.
No, but
So
see, this the thing, Napoleon. Like we all understand exactly what you present and exactly what you're trying to say, right? But this the problem, right? The mass majority of people and niggas who street niggas and shit like that, they hear that word proffer and then they look at this factual proffer and it has other names in it with Pooh Shiesty's name on the factual proffer signed at the bottom. A lot of people gonna look at that as he told. Like what we talking about right now, I understand what you're saying. Wack understand what you're saying. 600 understand. Loose understand. But a lot of people is not gonna dig this deep into it. They're gonna hear factual proffer and they're gonna see what we saw, bro. And they're gonna assume that's snitching. Facts.
within nobody can plead guilty in federal court if that's the case. Then what you basically saying is that no everybody going to trial. That's what you're saying.
No, you can plead guilty as long as what you're pleading guilty to and what you're agreeing to are statements against you and you only. On this
No, but
side of it.
basically, in the thing, he's saying that it's a statement saying we could prove this is you, and this is him on camera, doing this robbery. So if you don't want to go to trial, you have to admit and say this was everybody else,
Is
right?
that what you're saying,
Is that
Napoleon?
what happened?
That is not what I'm saying. Nobody got there and admitted anything. Nobody said
No, no,
anything.
no. It's not about saying or admit it. It's in the documents. Is it
In the
saying
Hey,
that
document that they
all
planned
three?
out to.
Yeah.
and
Let
my
me
plea,
break it
and
down.
my plea, and my plea, Shiesty name ain't in there. You know what I'm saying? I got all paperwork. Shiesty name ain't in my paperwork. So
Okay, so
nigga go to
who are
the
we talking to?
if a nigga go to the internet and saying a nigga a rat and they did their
Hold on,
homework, you know
bro.
what I'm
Who we
saying?
talking
It's
to?
improper. It's improper street shit.
That's
Who
this
are
You
we
is
know what I'm
talking
saying?
to?
Who is
that's
this?
Bobby Brown.
That's Bobby Brown. Okay, great.
It's
I'm
bank.
glad you here. So, when you saying in your plea, Bobby Brown, you only
That
pledged to what you did, right?
All my shit. All my shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna
Okay.
lie, like really, for you to really have a nigga on this motherfucker and this some bullshit, you really need to be paying a nigga to be on this shit. Nigga time ain't just no free time, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm getting prosecuted by a prosecutor again. What's up with you?
Well, I don't even know how you
I
end
gotta
up
answer
on here,
I
but
gotta
you
answer
on here.
questions to a nigga I don't know. Who is you?
I don't know. How'd you get on here?
You know what I'm saying? What you mean?
I don't know how you got on here.
You bringing up a situation that got something to do with me, my nigga.
Well,
Okay,
get your
great.
bitch ass off the
Hold on.
motherfucking
No, we're
screen,
not going
then,
to,
nigga.
What
hold
you
on.
mean?
But that ain't
You a
what we
Nigga,
bitch,
here
get your
nigga.
for.
bitch ass off the
Fuck
motherfucking
wrong with you,
screen,
nigga. Go
then,
do your
nigga.
Hold on,
homework,
Who
wait.
hoe
told
ass
you to
nigga.
Hold
get on
on.
here
Fuck
in
wrong
the
That
with you.
ain't
first
what
place,
we
you
here
bitch
for,
ass
bro.
nigga?
Yeah.
Look,
So hoe
that
ass
ain't
shit,
what
nigga.
Shut
your
Talk
your
to a
body.
bitch
nigga,
ass
address you,
up,
bitch
nigga.
ass
Get
boy.
off of
Nigga don't
Hold
get
even
on.
know
off
you,
of it,
nigga.
then, bitch.
Hold
Get
on.
off
Bitch
of it,
Look.
ass
then,
on,
bitch.
Hold
call
on.
your
Hold
nigga.
Nigga,
on.
don't
Hold
take
on.
my he
One mic.
prosecutor, nigga.
Yo, that ain't
Fuck
what
wrong
we
with
here
you.
for, bro. Bobby, slow down a little bit. Your energy is a little off. We not here
Nah,
to
I'm
say
cool.
you.
I'm cool. I'm vibing.
Okay,
Nigga just came
okay, but
disrespectful
chill
at
out
me.
because
Tell your
we got
man
some
to calm
questions.
down.
Listen, we got. If you don't want to be here, that's cool. You got the right to
Nah,
leave.
I
We
got
ain't
on her.
here.
I got on her just because I'm telling you what's going on. Like
Okay.
I got a little free time for you right now before I go
All right,
do
that's
what I'm
cool.
doing.
So
But I'm just
listen.
saying though.
So what?
I'm just saying.
Listen.
I just was listening and niggas say, oh, the most the majority of the world gonna see this and see that and then just make an accusation. You know what I'm
That's
saying? But
real.
you niggas doing y'all, you niggas got time on y'all hands, so y'all supposed to do y'all homework before y'all even bring some shit up like that.
We
That's what I'm
did.
saying.
When you sit on, let me ask you
On some
something.
young niggas to some
Wait,
old niggas
Where'd you
shit.
just do your time at?
I don't
Was
respect
you at
it.
a
Like y'all niggas
USP?
got time. Y'all niggas know to go do homework
Wait,
fully.
did you just do your time at a USP?
You said what, P?
Did you just do your time at a USP?
Nah, I ain't do no time in no USP.
Okay,
Shiesty did though. Shiesty did though.
so, so
I was with niggas that came from USP. I'm in that motherfucker
okay,
in real life and letting life check. I'm only letting
okay.
niggas
So
that
look,
got paperwork check my paperwork. You
so
see what
here
I'm
goes the
saying?
thing, right? Here goes the thing. You understand when somebody sees profer, right, in paperwork, what's the first thought?
I don't know what's a nigga thought. This is my first time
See,
going
then
fed.
you ain't,
I
you
don't
gotta
go
be
out what a
real
nigga
right
think.
now.
I go out what just happened. I'm going off a real experience, my nigga. I ain't just I'm fresh off the
So
yard.
you don't
You know
know
what I'm
what
saying?
a
I'm going
nigga
off a
thought
real
is when they
experience.
see profer? See, we
Said what?
cleared it up by keeping it real, bro. Like, you coming in hot, and that ain't what this is, right?
Nah, I ain't coming in hot. Your man just disrespecting me. They
No,
raised my
y'all
meter.
disrespected each other, right?
Yeah, I
So
did
we
that, but who
passed
did
that.
it first though?
Then we passed that. But listen, when a person sees safety valve, which Pooh doesn't have a safety valve, I'm just speaking in general, or proffer in the
You
federal
said what?
penitentiary, when anybody sees safety valve or proffer, Pooh don't got a safety valve, I'm just speaking in general, off the rip, they think you cooperated.
But what? But let me ask you a question, bro. And this is an
What up?
honest to God question.
What up?
What do we define as cooperating? Like that's what I'm trying to
Cooperating is
figure out.
anytime you give law enforcement information on anybody other than yourself.
Okay, but that's my point. They didn't give law
This is my
enforcement.
lawyer. This is my lawyer on her. What my John said? I ain't had no nigga name and nothing. You know what I'm saying? Any
Yeah, but
crime I
we don't.
ever did, any crime I ever
Your name
did,
not in question.
any crime I ever did, I did that shit dolo, Pete. It was my first time ever having a co-defendant. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. So Napoleon, let's get back to what you're saying. You're
Mhm.
saying in the documents, right? Nowhere in Pooh Shiesty documents is this individual's name or the other Cody name. Pooh Shiesty only agreed to what he did, right?
The government only wanted people to agree to what they did. Nobody asked anybody to point a finger at anything. That's what I'm trying to
Okay,
tell
we're
y'all.
not saying that. What I'm saying, let me slow it down. In Pooh Shiesty document that he signed, everything written in that document is pertaining to him and him only.
No.
Who just said that? Who just said no?
This ghost in the document in that factual proffer that he signed, it say all three of their names. It say all three of them committed the crime. That's what it say.
Hey, Bobby, what's up, brother?
Wait, let
600. Hey,
Napoleon
so
clear this shit
do
up.
you
What's up, Pete?
remember? Do you remember the document that you signed
Do I
to take your
remember?
plea?
Shit, my lawyer right here, shit, hell yeah, he can pull that shit up. What you mean?
Oh,
Where's
Shit, y'all want
what's
to
the
see that
lawyer
shit, nigga?
name?
Hey Bobby,
Shit,
did
nigga,
you
we can
did
pull
you
that
Me,
did
I
shit
you
up.
was
did
part
you
of the
did you
team.
ever
It was
did
a
you
team
ever
of
proffer
Oh,
us.
with
you his lawyer too,
Yeah.
Bobby?
Yeah,
Bobby,
this
did
my
you ever
lawyer,
proffer? Did you
Napoleon,
ever
Pete.
proffer with the government?
Nigga, for only shit that I did, only crimes I ever did by
No,
myself,
no,
Pete.
listen what I'm saying, bro. All I'm asking, did you ever speak to the government?
I
Did
ain't
you
never
ever
had no conversation, sit down, never went in an interrogation room or none of that.
they
Decline
never
all this
asked you
shit.
no questions? They
I
never asked you
decline
no
all
questions?
this shit.
Okay.
Decline this shit. Decline. You ain't automatic. You ain't mandatory. It ain't mandatory for you to sit down with nobody. I'm gonna tell
So
y'all this
look,
now.
Bobby.
You
So
know what I'm
Bobby,
saying?
let me
This
ask
this
you a
what's going
question,
on.
Bobby. Bobby, in your
Hey Wack,
agreement that
hey Wack, hey Wack. You got hey, I ain't gonna lie, you got like 3 more minutes. I'm about to charge you for this shit, bro.
yeah, that's cool.
You the first person interviewing me. I could have did some interviews and shit. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple
Hey
thousand out this
brother,
shit.
I've been
What's
in
up?
there
What you
with
got for me,
Napoleon.
Pete?
I'm glad. Listen, Bobby, I'm
What you
glad
got
you
for me?
listen. I'm glad you showed up, right? So my
I need
question
a
to you
payment
is,
from you, bro.
listen, because Napoleon has the document. So in your document that you signed, the only name in that document is your name, correct?
Napoleon. Hey, what's up? You got the documents, on it?
Yeah, I got it.
You don't remember what you signed?
You got the documents, Pete?
See, this is what you got to understand, Wack. When they
I'm just
walk
trying to
into,
clear it up, bro,
I
because
know, but I'm trying to clear that for you. What you have to
go ahead,
understand
brother.
is
Go ahead.
when you get this document, you literally coming out the back in handcuffs, and you like, all right, well, we ain't going to trial. You sign any damn thing that they
No,
bring
no, no,
before
no, no, no,
you.
no, no, no,
Nah,
no,
nigga ain't
no,
signing anything.
no,
Right. I'm not saying
no,
anything, but
Hey,
no.
you
See now,
listen,
wait,
listen.
see. I asked Bobby the question, and he said my attorney got the document. So when I asked you this question, now Napoleon, you tell
every
me when you
is back.
coming out of handcuffs, you're gonna sign anything. So I'm gonna slow it down. The document that was signed.
Mm-hmm.
This particular document for Bobby and or Pooh Shiesty, the document they put their signature to, the only names in in that document was their individual name.
For
Yes or
crime,
no?
it's a difference. It's a difference. It's a difference. Let me break something down to you, Wack.
Go
All
ahead.
right, let's say you got if me and you co-defendants. You know what I'm
I
saying?
really would like a yes or no though before you break it down,
Nah,
Napoleon.
you gotta cause you like I'm finna tell you something about it. If we co-defendants,
Go,
boom. You ain't never
go ahead.
been to the Fed. So your name automatic gonna be in my shit, co-defendant. First two, number one, number two, number three, or whatever, co-conspirators. That's how this shit go. But when you come down
Exactly.
to a factual proffer, it's saying like, all right, what's the facts? What did you do singly? What did you do singly? All my shit, all my crimes say singly, sir. Singly. Bobby Brown, singly. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. So you only
Singly. You see what I'm
signed,
saying? Then this
yeah,
shit on
Bob. You
camera.
only signed,
This shit on camera. So this shit on camera. You got rats pointing the nigga out saying,
yeah.
yeah, this man right here shot
So
me. Yeah, this
so
man
wait
right
up.
here shot me. Then the footage.
Let me
Come
break it
on now.
down. You're saying, and Napoleon, correct me if I'm wrong. The
Nah,
overall paperwork.
hey, Wack, fuck that. You reaching, bro.
Hold on, slow down, bro. We
Nah, you
almost got this
reaching,
shit
champ.
clear,
Hey, champ.
bro,
Listen, on
bro,
hunters, bro. You
bro.
reaching.
Slow
You
down,
reaching. What you
homie.
reaching for?
Who is
Slow
that?
What you
down.
reaching for? What you
Yo, mute
reaching
dude,
for?
bro.
What
You
you
mute
mad
mute.
for,
Hey,
listen,
nigga?
bro. We
What
in
are
the
you
Yo,
city,
mad for?
bro.
Because you was
hey, yo,
telling.
listen. Yo,
That was
Bobby. So what you
corroborating.
saying is, look, the overall document is gonna have everybody involved, but the
I'm trying
document
to
you
see
signed.
I'm trying to see what you
Listen,
implicating though.
no,
I'm
listen
saying
to
what
me.
you implicating though.
The homie, let me speak. The
I'm
overall
letting you
document
speak.
is gonna have everybody involved, but what you signed broke down only what you did, right?
So you ain't do your homework before you call my nigga a
I
rat and
did.
say you a rat?
I'm trying to put clarity to it.
Come on, man. You supposed to did some clarity before you ever went to the
So this
motherfucking
is what's
internet.
crazy. Hey,
That's
look,
what
bro.
I'm
Yo,
trying
so
to tell you.
Napoleon,
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
coming
Clear shit
back
up
to
and tell
you.
a nigga that you ain't gonna do your homework. You just talking.
No, we got the paperwork, bro. We sending him
You
the
know what I'm saying?
paperwork. Right?
So
So Napoleon,
you got site the paperwork with my name in it. That's what you saying.
we got Shiesty paperwork, right?
You got site
So
the paperwork with my name in it.
Napoleon,
That's
You
is
what
want
I'm
me
what
to
trying to
I'm
read
see.
it
I'm
to
saying.
trying
you?
to see that what you trying to
Slow down,
tell me.
slow down.
You got site the nine, you got site the paperwork with my name in it.
Ghost, you want to read it to him?
Yeah, you want
Come
me to
on,
read it to
man.
you right quick?
I
This
mean,
nigga
I'm
cap.
trying to go another way with it, but fuck it, we'll go your way.
No, so listen, man. Listen.
Hold on, hold
Here's
on,
the
hold on, hold on,
only.
hold on.
Napoleon,
I'm gonna
like,
read it for
did
him
you
right
hear the
quick.
Listen.
question I asked Napoleon? I'm
Yeah.
saying the document is going to have everybody involved, but the ones they signed singled out what they did individually. Is that what I'm hearing?
What the document says is that this is what the government is intending to prove if they were to go to trial. That's what the document says. It's basically where the government is making the allegations. That's what y'all are missing.
No,
It's
no,
not
no. I
what
hear you. They
they are
never went to trial,
saying, huh?
but they never went to trial. But the document was signed, right?
The document basically says this is what the government believes that it's going to prove. That's what it
Okay,
says. It
okay.
doesn't
Actually, he's
say.
asking, was the document signed? That's all he's asking.
Listen, man, I didn't say what I already said. I understand what. Listen, you know what, bro? Let me say something, and I shouldn't even say this, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. 100. If we are that damn stupid as a people, or we
Mm-hmm.
talking about these like, oh well, if we all together and like we can't even admit what we did to so that we can not spend the rest
Napoleon,
of the
they
life
goddamn
in
stupid, brother.
jail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Napoleon.
they goddamn
I'm
We
gonna
stupid.
say
we
we because
we
I
got
was in the streets
problems,
The,
too.
bro.
the
No,
streets is
Napoleon,
goddamn
Napoleon, hear
stupid,
me out,
folks.
I
bro.
Please
know.
step back.
That's how stupid
I
street
Facts.
but see,
fools
I don't
is,
agree
bro.
with y'all though. I don't
No,
think
no,
everybody is
Napoleon,
that
hear me
stupid.
out, hear me
Because
out.
guess what? There have been millions of people plead
Napoleon, hear
guilty
me
every
out,
day
bro.
to the same
This
thing.
is
So the
why I
streets,
said, yo,
this is
Napoleon, this
yeah,
is why you heard me say that if three people agree to something, right? And they all agree to this to get their deal, right? This is why I said maybe we need to revisit this shit to restructure this shit. Because as of now, yes, it's that damn stupid. You get what I'm saying?
that's crazy, bro. Because
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
know
here's
it
the
is.
reality of it. Let me give
But
you
I'm
a little bit of
glad Bobby is
context.
here because I want Bobby to clear it up that they all agreed to take their deal
Let
collectively.
me let me clear something up because
Bobby,
I want you. This is
Hey,
a very, very important point. I want to clear something up first.
I gave you 5 minutes. You really passed the timeline. So what you got to negotiate with me now? What we having an interview? This an interview now?
okay, let me
I'm asking you
negotiate with you,
if this
bro.
an interview, you might, you know what I'm saying? You a rich ass nigga. They said you got a couple of millions and shit. You know what I'm saying? 10,000
Hey,
ain't shit. I
listen,
need
bro,
10,000 for
I
an
didn't
interview.
invite you up. So, you know, if you want to
All right,
be up in
I'm
the court,
gone then. You ain't got no bread. I done gave you a little time, Pete. You know what I'm saying? I broke this shit down to you.
Hey,
My
bro, I
nigga
just
ain't say
asked you a
nothing. He ain't
question.
point me out of no
Did
lineup.
you
Ain't
guys
nobody
all
point me out
agree to
none of this
take the
shit.
same deal?
Shiesty ain't no rat in my eye, none of that. He ain't
Okay.
did nothing flaw.
I'm
Point no nigga out
asking
of
you,
none of this
did
shit.
you
You know what I'm
guys
saying?
did all
So
agree to take the
you
same
got your
deal,
time,
right?
Pete. You got your time. Hey, if you
Yo, Bobby.
want to interview a nigga, go live on the
Hey,
ground,
yo,
shoot me a
Bobby,
little
did
bread or
you
something. This
guys
shit gonna be
did
up. I
all
got you.
agree to take the same deal, right?
I got you.
Yes, y'all did or no?
Bobby said in
Bobby.
his paperwork he ain't got nobody name but his. That's what he claimed.
I mean,
Wack, let me tell
shit.
you something, bro.
Yo,
Let me
what's
tell
up,
you something.
Napoleon? I'm,
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep
yeah,
it.
go ahead.
I'm gonna be very, very honest about this whole thing.
Go
Okay,
ahead, brother.
y'all are talking about what the streets do and this and that. I'm gonna be 100% with you. They the realest that you actually gonna find when you look at everything. You know everything that happened. To say that what the streets do or not do, like they ain't out there woofing on that shit. They're telling real facts, bruh. So like when y'all talking about like, oh, what the streets do or what not, listen, I'm just telling you that
Mm-hmm.
by saying that, all right, we just not gonna go to trial. They offered Bobby Brown right there. They offered him the world, bro. They offered him the world to really snitch and to really tell on people. And guess what he did? He
Okay,
stood
so
on 10. He ain't
basically,
telling nobody.
they all
He's
rats.
letting you
Yo,
know
They the
what
look.
realest rats.
time.
Yo,
That's so
look.
I
So,
don't
yo,
understand this
Meet
whole
up, meet up with
concept.
me. Meet up with me and call me a rat and see what
hey,
happens.
hey, yo, Napoleon. The only thing I'm trying to do, right?
Yeah,
I've already heard what you
that's
said.
rats.
What I'm saying is,
Meet up
if
with me and
all
say that
three
I'll
of them,
drop my low.
yo,
On God,
hold
I'm
on,
in traffic
all
right
three of
now. I'll
them
drop my low.
agreed to take the deal. Is what I'm saying. Yes or no?
Listen, bro, you keep asking me the same question. I'm going to keep giving you the same answer. I'm telling you that if you want to talk about proffers, the word, because that's what you brought me on here for, there
Uh-huh.
was a opportunity to proffer to the government what happened. And that man that just got off his thing, they offered him to walk out of jail. They offered him to be free. All you got to do is tell him Pooh Shiesty. And you know what he said? Kick rocks. I ain't saying nothing.
No, I
And
get
so,
that.
no. Let me finish, right?
Go ahead.
Because it goes back to my point. If you're talking about what the streets would do, now listen. If he would have went in there and told on Pooh Shiesty, then the streets got a problem. But if you're telling me that you really think that three people who are friends all agree to resolve this and not go to
He told
trial,
on the
and
dude
therefore
that got
that's
8 years
snitching,
though.
No,
what?
okay. Yo, and
You don't know why
Napoleon,
he got
that's
8
what I'm,
years,
yo,
bro.
Napoleon, what
What?
you're saying is what I keep trying to get you to concur. Is all three agreed to take this situation as stipulated?
Right.
That's that's what I keep asking, and I was hoping that because he was one of the three, he would have concurred that.
Listen,
You
man.
get you get what I'm
Right.
saying?
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but I want to give it some context because when you just talk about it in a bubble, yeah, it may seem that way. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the government, if you look at their 404B motion, they claim that there were murders in Memphis, Arkansas, Texas,
We
Miami,
know they didn't
and
tell him none
all
of that.
these different places, right? Hold on, no, let
I'm
me
not
finish. Let me
questioning.
finish.
I'm not questioning none of that. The
Well,
only
then why are
thing
we
I'm trying
talking,
to
bro?
get you to concur is all three Cody's, all three friends, all agreed with one another to take the deal as stipulated. Agreed. Everybody knew what they was taking. That's
Right,
all I'm asking.
right.
That's
Just
what I.
like every other case where you got co-defendants, that's what happens
Okay.
in every case of
So
And Napoleon, we
yeah.
trying to get to the facts and not no other cases, no other. But
yeah.
he's asking you
So
specifically
so
on
I'm
this
gonna
one.
break. So everybody knew what they was taking. They all agreed. Two of them had the same attorney, right? Um,
And I was with it. It was a team of us. I want to
it
be
was a
clear on
team of you guys. So no, it wasn't like uh Pooh didn't know what he was gonna do. Everybody got the deal put in front of them. Everybody agreed to sign the deal as stipulated, whatever it had been. They all agreed. Everybody knew exactly what the fuck they were signing, exactly what the terms were. Right? Wasn't no surprises to any of them once they got sentenced. Correct.
before they got sentenced.
Yeah, correct. They all knew. Okay, great. So this is when I got back to this is one of those things that I feel, this is me talking, that if it's Cody's with one another and they all agreeing to take something based upon just them and not none of them involving anybody else,
There you
right?
go. Right.
This is where I'm at with it. I
Right.
feel like, right, then maybe it needs to be some restructure to what we say this thing is, right? Because if all three say, yo, it's broke down like this, it's only concerning and pertaining to us three in this crime, not nobody else, and we're
Correct.
gonna
Not the
sign it,
seven other people that were there, right? Not the
yeah, yeah,
seven other
yeah,
people.
not none of them,
Why
and
you
we're
Exactly.
gonna
focus on the
assign this
7 other
to
people?
avoid 20 years of the void trial, and we all agree. And the only thing that's here is involving us three, nobody else. Me personally, I don't think that should be gauged as you cooperated against somebody. That's me
Right.
personally, right?
Me
This
too.
is me. This is why I was trying to get Bobby Brown or whatever his name was to say, yes, we agreed to take this as stipulated. But I think he's hearing it wrong. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, it's the way that y'all presented it, because when you say that somebody is snitching in the streets and you don't know all
No,
the
no,
facts,
we're saying the word proffer is in a document, and when they
nah,
see proffer, they read it as snitching. And the way you broke it down, I'm understanding that all parties agreed to take the terms, and it only pertained to these three people, nobody else. And I'm saying, based on that, right? I don't see
right.
that Pooh told on him or Bobby told on him this, that, and the other as you're giving it to me. Now, I haven't got the document you're going to send me, but from what you're telling me, right, this is the way I'm seeing it. And I
Right.
really believe it needs to be some restructure to this bullshit that, what the rules of the streets are. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that. I agree with
Yeah.
that because, like, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, if you are all in agreement and everybody's like beforehand too, because this ain't a situation where it's like, oh, okay, well, one person just agreed and then therefore everybody else just had to agree. Like, it's not like that, bro. And that's what you're saying is why I think it's just crazy to suggest that, especially given the contents of everything else that they had. Like I said before, there were 7 other people in that video. Nobody's name is in any paperwork. There are 14 other. I know. Let me just. I want everybody to hear this because this is live. People might watch it. There are 14 other incidents, homicides, drug trafficking, robbery across 4 states. Right. That's what the government claimed happened. Nobody's name is in any paperwork. So just because you want to resolve your issue with the people that's already on your paperwork, you a snitch, and y'all all agreed to it, so you don't have to go to trial. Like, there's something wrong with our society, bro. If that's what people are
No,
saying,
it's
because
definitely
those
no, no, no,
14
no.
other those 14 other people, those 14 other cases, nobody's name is nowhere. Nobody said anything.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about, oh, this happened here. Nobody even actually uttered a word to the government. And you all you got to do is be like, oh, all right. Like, we got something messed up, bro. Like, and
But, but
for people who say that they won't and everybody is in agreement, they full of crap. I just don't believe it. Not when you face in life. I just don't believe it.
now, listen. What you said, I was trying to say, but like I said, maybe the brother was hearing me wrong, right? I will say this: the rules of the streets is anytime you mention anybody other than yourself, they're gonna label you a rat. Anytime you got safety valve proffer
Right.
and it
Right.
involves anybody other than yourself, they're
Right.
gonna label you a rat. Because guess what? When that individual gets to that penitentiary, the other
Mm-hmm.
two individuals they're not with them to
Right.
collaborate, right?
Right.
So this is why they do that, right? They like
Listen,
they
let me say
say,
something. I understand what you're saying. If they were a singular defendant and they had somebody else's name in their paperwork that's not sitting right next to him trying to resolve this whole thing, I see what you're saying. Like, if Pooh Shiesty was sitting there by himself, right, and he was presented with the opportunity to point out other individuals, and he did that, and then tried to like take a plea, that'd be one thing. But that's not what happened here. It's like the people that you're talking about are sitting right next to you. So to try to say, and especially when nobody else's name is mentioned, It's crazy, bro. Like
No,
Let's
this,
just
no,
sum it
listen.
y'all
up.
got me all out my element. Like I'm trying
No,
to.
no, Napoleon.
Yeah.
I'm with you on what you're
All right.
saying, right? The only
Right.
thing I need is to be concurred with the documents you're gonna send me, and I'm saying out my mouth that if it's 2 or 3 dudes and they crimes and they all agree to take this deal based upon what is stipulated as only involving them, right? And all their names is crossing each other's paperwork. And as Bobby Brown said, it's individualizing what he did, individualize what he did on each of these documents, and they signed it, and everybody's saying it's cool. I'm with you on that, right?
Right.
And this is a great thing because this is probably the first time this type of conversation has been had to hear that type of situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right? I'm totally with you. It was 7 other people in the parking lot. None of the other people were involved. None of the other people were mentioned. The 3 people that was charged and put together, all of them agreed. We ain't going to trial. We ain't facing the 20. We're going to take this 4, 5, and 8, and we good. And I know in here it says, Pooh, Shiesty, and this guy, but individually you did this and you signed that, and everybody knew that's what they were signing to get that deal. I'm with you. I personally wouldn't see it as snitching, right?
Right.
Personally. But in the world we live in, because these 3 individuals might go to 3 different institutions, and when they get there and they see profer, of course they're gonna say, of course you're gonna lie and tell us you didn't snitch. What you mean? Oh, nah, what you mean y'all all agreed to do this?
Right.
They
So
just gather it all up as one and treat it as such. You get what I'm saying?
right. So I want to, and I just want to make sure that your audience understands. There's when we're talking about the word proffer, there are 2 different type of proffers. It's the proffer like they did where they had to do it just so that they could plead guilty, and they said that this is what the government believes they're going to prove at trial. The other type of proffer is what people have a problem with, where is when you go down, you sit with the agents, and you tell the agents out of your mouth what happened, who did what, who was involved here, who was involved in all these other incidents, and so people are getting the 2 things confused
That's when
because
that safety valve start kicking in.
there you go. That's when safety valve can kick in and save somebody because they went and they told on somebody. But this is a completely
For the record, Pooh Shiesty has no safety valve. For the record.
no
Go
safety
ahead.
valve, bro.
Go ahead.
There's no safety valve. Nobody got a safety valve. Nobody sat down and talked to the government. Nobody did it. Nobody said anything.
Well,
They
no, they
just
talk, listen, they just signed a document presented by the government that they all agreed upon the document because it only involved those 3.
right, exactly.
There it goes.
Hey, let me ask you this though.
Yes, sir.
On the case, did all of them sign that and agree to do that plea agreement at the same time, or did one of them like take like an extra 2 weeks or something like that?
The sentencing hearings happen different. So actually, I take that back. I think DeRozan's sentencing happened different, but all 3, when the documents were signed, was at the same time.
Gotcha.
Same day, same time.
Somebody took 2 weeks to sign, right?
Hold on, let me look. You're talking about something that happened 2 years ago. Give me 1 second.
The chat is asking me, ask why the last dude took 2 weeks to sign. Whoever the last dude may have been, you would know. I wouldn't know.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, so like I say, it seemed like it need to be some readdressing with the street rules like that for them type of situations. Like I'm in agreement with Wack. I wouldn't persecute Pooh and bank for that and the other person if they agreed to just get the best deal and don't involve nobody else who was at that location.
I'm not in
Thank you.
agreement to none of
You
that
know what I'm
shit.
saying? Now it just is
You
what
be
it
in
is.
prison.
I don't agree.
Some people they're not gonna agree on that.
You know, when you say
Because
Napoleon, you be in prison.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's the unorthodox
that's
way.
just how it is.
That's how it
Yep.
is. You know, it's a lot of
And
people.
I'm glad that people getting to see this, to see that you in this lose situation. Now, why you pulling up that information? Let
Hold
me
on,
just
really quick. I want to address that really quick though, because so you telling me that you're in a lose-lose situation when the people that are all in it together, like,
No. I'm saying you're in a lose-lose
No,
situation
stop,
dealing with the
600.
streets and the
No,
street rules.
Napoleon. No,
mhm,
Napoleon. Yes, right? Now remember, now I'm speaking to you on what it is, right?
yeah,
Okay. You're in a lose-lose situation because although all three people agreed, right? All their documents have the other people's name in it in some sense, right? Not them saying, yo, Bobby Brown did this and I saw him
right,
did this. It's in the signature, right? And when he goes to an institution and they ask for that, they see that, and they see any form of word proffer and they see that,
hmm,
yes, you're in a lose-lose because as it's written, as it's supposed to
right,
go, you're just supposed to get in there and say, I ain't signing shit that got anybody name other than mine. Okay, you looking at 40. Or you could take this 8 because your boy is agreeing to sign the same document. Fuck that, give me the 40. This is what they're saying. And I understand what you're saying because you're saying if that person was in that situation with his boy and they know they was in agreement, they would sign for the 8 too, right? That's what you're saying,
correct,
right?
exactly,
Okay. And this is what me and 600 is saying, right? I think this shit need to be revisited overall to where if two codees, right, get
right,
together and agree to sign a document that involves only those two people's dealings in this situation, right, to get
right,
their lower deal, and it doesn't involve anybody else, then I don't think that that should be categorized as snitching, is what I'm
correct.
saying.
I
Now, I
agree.
don't know how people are going to be able to determine because if they split the codees up, his paperwork just says proffer and another name if they know the other dude is in agreement. You get what I'm saying? Maybe
Right.
they need
So,
to come up with a form, agreement fucking form. Maybe legal need to say, yo, y'all getting
right.
people stabbed and killed. Can we come up with a form where both parties agree to something that's signed so they can go to prison with that form as well? I'm just
Let,
being real.
let me tell you something. So 98% of people in federal court plead guilty. Okay. So the vast majority of people that are in there are usually charged with some type of conspiracy crime, and they usually have co-defendants. The people who have been to federal prison understand that a factual proffer for purposes of taking a plea is not snitching. So the only people who don't understand that are the people that have never been in that type of situation where they have had co-defendants. Okay. So now there are, like I said before, there is a factual proffer for purposes to take a plea is completely different than a proffer that a person gives to the government. And the
Okay,
people who have been in federal prison understand that concept. So they're not going to get shanked or whatever the
can
case
I
is.
ask you
Just,
a question then,
yes,
right?
sir.
Clear this up. When you go pull up the definition of governmental factual proffer, and it
Hmm.
reads a meeting between a criminal defendant or witness and the government where the defendant shares information with the government in exchange for limited immunity. What is that referring to?
That is
That
referring
definition.
to that part of it, that definition is referring to a factual proffer where a person is cooperating with the government. So I hear what you're saying, yes, but that is not what happened here. And
No,
maybe
I'm
that's the
asking for you to clear now. Can we? Is there another definition that we can find to support what you're saying? I'm already in agreement that if all three agreed and no other names was mentioned, I'm with you, me, right? 600's with you, right? And the streets is gonna say you niggas is crazy. They shouldn't have said nothing, but I'm with you, right? Now,
right.
is there
So
another
why
definition?
don't you do the same Google search? Government factual proffer, and
That's what I did.
I want you to add 3 words, okay?
Okay.
For plea deal. And I'm gonna read it what it says. A proffer of facts is a written statement of facts that the defendant agrees to as a part of a plea agreement. It establishes the factual basis for the defendant's guilty plea. And that's all it is. It's just
Okay.
for the right.
Now, Napoleon, and I'm gonna say it because I'm like you bald head motherfucker. It took us an hour and 39 minutes After I came on here minute one and told you what they're seeing, what they're reading, and this definition they're saying supports that. This is why I kept picking and picking and picking. And he's absolutely right. When I Googled government factual proper for plea deal, it reads a proper of facts is a written statement of facts that a defendant agrees to as part of a plea agreement. It established the factual basis for the defendant's guilty plea, right?
Correct.
So, on your document, does it spell out government actual facts? Does it spell that out? Does it say proffer of facts? Or does it say government factual proffer? Because it's
It don't
two
say
things.
it it doesn't actually say either one, but the people who understand the system know the difference. So legally, the legal world, they don't differentiate for street purposes. I hate to say it like that, but that's the truth. So, but what I'm trying to tell you and what I'm trying to explain to you is that when you actually look at the database, you could see it that it literally says in the document itself, it says for purposes of a plea. If the government would have went into trial, this is what they claim that they would have proven. And that's the part where I'm trying to give, people
Yeah.
the understanding as to the difference between it. They both, you'll never see a factual proffer when a person, you'll never see a factual proffer when a person is cooperating with the government in a public document. It would be sealed.
Right.
So this can't be a situation where where you're treating it as someone snitching, because you wouldn't even be able to pull it up.
Wack, you on mute.
And you're going to provide the document to show that it's not sealed and this is all he agreed to, which was his personal involvement in the case.
Your Ghostman just read it.
Well, no, you said earlier you had the other
I said I
document.
got the transcript.
Yeah, there you go.
Wag,
The transcript of the
Wag,
sentence.
Wag. Listen, he's not trying to provide nothing. He's not trying to provide no paperwork,
No, that's
nothing at
not what he
all.
said.
He
Facts,
keeps
bro.
saying
You
he's
know
gonna
what?
send
That's
it
not
to
what he
you.
said.
He's not gonna. He have to send it.
Well, he said off
That's
the
not.
Actually,
record, not on live. He said not on live. He'll send it
Yeah,
to him
that's
after.
not what he said. He said he's gonna send it to me.
Okay, what? Okay,
Hey
tell him to send
Napoleon,
it. Send it to you
yes,
right now,
sir.
and you can read it.
and let me ask you a question.
Send
So,
it to you
like,
right now, so you can read it.
if I got some co-defendants and my co-defendant, I'm in jail or whatever, we probably not in the same unit or whatever, and I decide I want to go to trial, but now one of my co-defendants is saying that they want to cop out. Is it in my best interest to cop out?
I mean, it depends on the facts and the circumstances of the case. But the reality of it is that in this particular situation that I'm talking about here, everybody had their eyes wide open. This wasn't a situation where one person said, I want to go to trial, and then somebody else said, no, I want to plea out, and therefore I'm going to, put your name in this factual proffer. Your name's going to be in this factual proffer. That wasn't the situation. But to answer your question directly, I'll tell you this: most people in federal court, and you bring up a very interesting point. You know what the purpose of the factual proffer is? If your co-D wants to go to trial and you want to plea, or I don't know if it's vice versa, but the point
To
of the
tell the
factual
truth, right?
proffer. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To tell the truth.
No. The purpose of a factual proffer for purposes of a plea agreement is to stop the co-defendant from testifying on your behalf. So the only reason why the government does this, or one of the main reasons why the government makes people sign a factual proffer for purposes of a plea deal, is that once you plead guilty, okay, and once you're sentenced, you can then go and testify on your co-defendant's behalf. So what the government is trying to prevent people from doing by signing a factual proffer is to stop people from being able to go and testify on their co-defendant's behalf, because you've already, said your information or your involvement in the incident. So that's the purpose of the factual proffer, so that people can't go in, take to get a favorable plea and then be like, nah, he didn't do nothing. That's why the government does that.
Okay, and
Okay, so
then
you're
you
gonna send
said
the
that the
paperwork to
last
Wack?
person, my bad, Lucy, you said that last because I don't remember the name, but when I looked at it 2 years ago, it was somebody who took like 2 weeks to, to sign everything. Was that, just because of the court dates and all that? That
If
was
you
that
tell me
was on
what,
Pacer.
hold on one second. Let me go back to it.
But are you gonna send the paperwork to Wack?
Man, I'm not answering none of your questions, bro, because your
Yeah,
energy
no,
running
he
No,
said he gonna
no,
send it to me.
sweetheart, that's the real question.
not your sweetheart, bro.
Loose. He said
You
he gonna
are,
send it.
sweetie pie.
I'm on text blast with him. He said he gonna send it. Ali, I hope you a female. Ali Miller. He said, "Wow, you look old." Old means outliving dummies. That's a fact. Oh shit.
Oh, this was very
Yeah, I
informative though,
don't.
because I didn't know that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was like, this was a very informative live. I didn't know all
Yeah,
this.
that's what I wanted it to be. I didn't want this to turn into a, he's real legal. To know clubhouse shit. You know what I'm saying? We here to try to make sense of it, either expose or clear it up and expose on that side. It's two sides of it.
Yeah, no. Listen. Like I said, man, I appreciate you putting this platform out there, but I just, the part that I don't want to be out there is that, okay, that these people snitch, because I'm, like I said before.
No. You've cleared it up. You said all three Cody's, right, got a deal put in front of them. One guy for 8, one guy for 5, one guy for 4. Pooh
Right.
being the guy in the middle for the 5. All three, I believe your legal team represent 2 of them. All three agreed to the terms, right?
Right. And
Of the
I want to be clear about something too, just so you know. Okay. At the time that the plea was offered and it was accepted, the guilty plea, because they don't let you. It's not like state court. In state court, you could take a plea and you know what your sentence is actually going to be when you do it. That's not how federal court works. What happens in federal court is that you plead guilty to a count in the indictment, and then after you plead guilty, they set a sentencing hearing. They complete a report that's about 30 pages. It's the pre-sentence investigation report. Part of your sentence has to do with your criminal history. So if all three of us commit a crime, but I have a greater criminal history, or if I have a detailed criminal history, I'm going to get sentenced differently than the two of you guys.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I want to be
That's the
clear that
point
when they
system, right?
walked in, I'm sorry?
That's the point system, right? The point system. Once you
Exactly.
go
That's
to
the
sentencing.
federal sentencing
But
guideline.
that was factored into the overall agreement anyway. When this guy got it prior, this guy doesn't, this guy, that was factored into, this guy had a gun, this guy did. I'm just throwing shit out there. That
It
was
was
factored into the overall plea agreement anyway, right?
I mean, yes and no, because like I told you before, when they entered into the plea agreement, the government at the sentencing hearing was trying to argue that the conspiracy to possess firearms was for purposes to commit a murder. Okay. And we were arguing to commit an armed robbery. And we argued to the judge, this isn't an armed robbery. This isn't an armed robbery. So we didn't know which way the judge was actually going to go. We didn't know if the judge was going to say, well, yeah, that's really an armed robbery, and therefore you guys got to do 10 years, as opposed to, no, this wasn't an armed robbery. This was an aggravated assault, and therefore you guys get to do 4 or 5. We did not know that going in.
And to Wack point earlier, he was saying that most people hear proffer, they think, oh, somebody cooperating. If I'm not mistaken, because we even talked to I remember Wack had talked to Pooh Shiesty, daddy, and he was saying the same thing. He was familiar with proffer being a certain type of way. The factual proffer is something new that the government is putting out, right? In the past few years. It ain't been
No,
around.
that's been the way for a very long time. So you got to understand, state court and federal court is completely different. And some
No, we get that. We get that. But I'm
right.
gonna tell you what the problem gonna occur, Napoleon, is not, it doesn't really stipulate if it's the factual proffer or the governmental proffer. You get what I'm saying? Because
Right.
they're two total different. It defines two total different things. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's kind of that gray area to where, okay, you the legal, you gonna say it's that one, but how we know it ain't that one? And I can say
I
that
know how you
because,
know. You know how I know you won't because at the end of the day, you won't get it. It won't be a public record. So if it's in a
well,
public record,
again, I'm glad you
right,
said that. That's something you're gonna send me. And uh Bobby Brown, is his name Bobby Brown, whatever the brother name was. He
right.
came in here and kind of like I was trying to get him to just stamp that you agree, y'all all agreed to it, but I think he heard it wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
So,
mean, it's part of the delivery, bro, because you got the other guy on
but
here talking about like, that's snitching and all that other stuff. And like that's real stuff to put out. Like if you're really from the streets and like that's a real thing. So
but
if
see, here
you
goes the thing, Napoleon. Everybody could be up here saying that, right? You got he's his own man. He's gonna see it his own way, and he's gonna
right,
tell us why he sees it that way. I'm my own man. I'm breaking things down and hearing it and navigating through it. 600 is doing the same because right in front of you, he was on one side of the fence and then listening. He agreed that in a situation like this, where all the Codys agree and there's no other involvement outside of them,
right.
right? He changed his stance on it, right? So, this is the world. I mean, you're gonna
I
have
appreciate that. That's real.
yeah, you're gonna have different opinions. And that's what makes it authentic. And it's not people saying, "Oh, they paid them," or "Oh, no, they got one guy saying this," because there's some guys down there agreeing with loose cannon, right? Then you got some other guy saying, "Well, you know what? I probably can see it Wack way if all three agree and no other names was involved, right? Yeah, maybe it should be some restructure to that, right?" And then
Yeah.
they watch 600 be on one side of the fence, and then kind of in this situation kind of like, you know what? Nah, I see where that might could work, right? And well, once I get the document, that's gonna finalize it, and at that point, people could go back here because guess what? You answered all sides of it. It wasn't a
Right.
one-sided thing, right? To where
Right.
anytime somebody brings up something, I'm pretty sure it was something that was put on the table in this interview and where they can get real factual questions because you are the real legal and you
Right.
provide real documents.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, listen, so like I said, I'm definitely going to do that. And I appreciate you kind of like clearing this thing up. But I just want, like I said before, I want people to know that the government offered Bobby Brown the world to give a fractional proffer to them so that he could walk out a free man. He did not do it. Okay. Nobody on their team, including Pooh Shiesty, said anything about the people who were not in this case. They didn't say anything about the people who were in the case. The 7 people that were outside of this case on that video, not a word about them. The 14 other incidents that they tried to claim that he was responsible for in Texas, Arkansas, Memphis, all these other places, not a peep about it. Nothing at all. He didn't talk to them. He didn't say a single word to any government official about anything whatsoever. He didn't get credit for it. He didn't get safety valve. He didn't get anything. Okay. And I think that's the most important part that people are missing. And what you're saying, and if the 3 of them decided that they don't want to go to trial together, keep that in mind, together, then I don't see the problem with that. I don't see the problem with it. I understand how people might say, oh, well, they told, and like I hear what you're saying, like, oh, this person is over here and this person is over there. But like if that were the case, like, well, Bobby Brown, you see where his energy is at, because that's not something to play around with, and that's just not what happened, bro. Like, this is not. Nobody
Well,
snitched on anybody.
it's like I say, everybody gonna take it the way they're gonna take it. I think what's out there is out there, and some people gonna agree and some people gonna disagree. I'm in agreements with. I think they did the best thing for their future. Uh, Unfortunately, some people are not gonna feel that way, and some people are not gonna feel the way I feel. But it just is what it is.
I'll tell you
Me
this.
personally, I'm I'm glad they took the best deal for themselves and not involve nobody else outside their circle. You know,
Correct.
I'm not gonna call them snitches if they all in agreements.
That's what I
especially when
said.
they have opportunities to tell everybody else. But the streets got the streets for the rules like that, and this is why it's all mixed up, you know.
I,
And some
I,
people just gonna say, under no circumstances do you take a deal involving anybody else's guilt or anything. That's just how it's gonna go.
but see, they didn't have to say that other people were guilty. They
Well,
just had to say that this is what the government claimed that they're going to prove at trial. And I'll tell you this: I've represented a lot of different people over the 20 years that I've been practicing law. Okay, I have never, ever ran into a client who would not have done the exact same thing. I have never, as a matter of fact, I know people that would walk in there and tell on their mama, even if she ain't in the indictment. So this is not that type of situation. This is not somebody bringing somebody into something that is completely different. This was a collective, a not collective, but this was a situation where they got the best deal for all of them collectively. And here's the alternative part about it. Had they not done that, and they all three would be sitting in jail potentially for the rest of their life, when they could have just said, you know what, man, we ain't gonna fight this. We ain't telling nobody else. We ain't doing nothing else. That's that. We ain't saying nothing. We ain't cooperating. We ain't saying nothing. Like, no. We just gotta sign this document.
That's why I said it's a little situation dealing with the streets and the street rules. Let me get a situation somebody I know just got locked up. Similar to me, I don't really have a criminal record like that. And this
Right.
person, California, is like low points, right?
Yeah.
So a good percentage of the prisons in California are like SNY, special needs, PC, high percentage, right?
Right.
So a person, they throw you on the yard, you have to sign documents to say you're not going to harm these certain type of people. And you put there. You have nowhere
Right.
else to go. The
Right.
lose-lose situation is that if you stay there, you're going to get persecuted by the streets. Say, man, you did your time on that type of yard.
So
To
and
get
so
off
in
that
essence, what
yard,
he
you
has
have
to
to
do
do a
is go.
crime.
He got to
You
commit a
have
crime to get off
you
the
got to go
yard.
commit a crime, bust on someone, hurt someone, and let them know I can't program on this yard, and risk more time in prison to get off that yard to satisfy the
Right.
streets.
This
That's
why
why I
we
say
preach to the youth: stay
this
out of
it's a,
street politics.
it's a
Don't gang
lose-lose
bang.
situation.
It's a
Mhm.
fact.
You know? So that's why I'm saying
I
it's a
get it.
lose-lose situation.
It's extremely sad, to be honest with you. If that's
No,
the case.
definitely. So look, man, I appreciate you. We on Text Blast. When you find the time, hopefully today, to get me over those so I can close this thing out. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
No
And
problem.
just close it up, wrap it up. Pooh Shiesty and his other two co-Ds all agreed to take the plea deal. 8, 5, and 4. Pooh took the 5. None of them had a mandatory minimum. What he's saying. Um, all of them agreed to take this deal that involved that didn't involve them giving information on anybody else, just agreeing to whatever those terms were of those 3 people involvement. They all agreed on that. They all went to prison on that to avoid going to trial and facing 20 years of life, whatever it may be. My stands on it, they were all in agreement to it. No other names was involved. I haven't heard anybody say they got caught up behind anything. I don't call it telling, knowing what I know now. That's where I'm at. He's gonna send me the document because he said it's public record and it's open, right? If it was a telling proffer or a safety vow, it will be sealed and we wouldn't be able to see it. Napoleon, do you concur everything I said, or is it did I miss anything?
No, I agree with you. And then the last thing I'll say is that anybody who's watching this video and has ever seen anybody that taken a plea in federal court when a conspiracy case, ask them what they think about this situation where they all agree to it. I guarantee you they would say that's not snitching.
600, you got some closing remarks?
The closing remarks is that the streets is dead. I'm gonna stand on. I agree what they did, and if my co-defendants were with somebody in that situation, but if I was in that situation, if we was all in that situation and we was all in agreements, I would have did the same thing for my crimes and not involve nobody else. I'm gonna just say that it's just a bad look for the streets because that's against the street rules to do that, and that's just how I feel about it. It is what it is.
Luce, you got a closing argument? Closing statement, I mean.
Yeah, shit. We have to see the paperwork first before I can make a conclusion. So when he send it, I go on YouTube and make a proper response.
All right, cool. Who's that? Big Chuck? You got a closing statement?
Yeah, I just got a closing question real quick because I got him up here. I just forgot to ask him this earlier. It's about another case, and I know he worked on federal cases before. So if a person takes a safety valve and like this person is saying that they didn't give any information and they still was able to get the safety valve, is that possible?
Right. So a lot of times, what happens with safety valve, if you're talking about like a drug trafficking crime,
Yeah.
sometimes people they do have to talk and say what they did to get the safety valve. So
It has to
it's
be granted, right?
I'm sorry.
The safety
It has to
valve.
be granted. They gotta the
It has to
feds
be
got.
granted, correct. But like I said before, there are certain type of situations and certain type of crimes where you can get a safety valve without actually like saying what the involvement was for yourself. There are certain like safety valve for not having certain for certain other type of crimes. But I would have to look. I would have to know the particular circumstances to really give an opinion on specifically what you're talking about
Now
here.
my question to you:
Appreciate it.
what if the statements that was given in the safety valve were sealed?
Oh, you said what if they're sealed?
Yeah, the statements given
They
in the
probably
safety.
would be. Well, they won't even. The statement given for safety valve usually is not even put on the court record, just so you know. So it's not even on the docket. You can't even see it because in the situation you're talking about, let's just say, for example, that there's a drug trafficking organization and a person was involved in it, and then they didn't have any priors. They have to give a statement to the government. They have to meet with the government, give the statement to the government about what their involvement was, and then boom, they get a safety valve. Okay, that statement to the government is not even on the docket. This is only the government keeps that statement.
Would legal have access to it? Their attorney?
Their attorney will be there when you give a safety valve statement.
But what I'm saying, would the attorney have access to whatever statements was given?
It depends on if it's actually recorded or if it's actually transcribed. So sometimes people give safety valve statements and it's not actually transcribed. It's not written down. It's just a conversation.
But would the attorney have access to the recording?
If they request it from the government, if there's a reason to have it, yeah.
So the attorney
You could
could
get it.
request. The attorney could request it one way or another.
Representing them, yes.
Got you. All right, thank you. Look, man, I appreciate your time. Everybody, I'm pretty sure this get around. You did a great job, Napoleon, representing your client. We'll get loose when I get the document. I'll go over it with you, and then you could give your closing statement then on the other channel. Napoleon, bro, you're a great guy. I'll keep
Appreciate
your number
you, man.
locked in. I hope the fuck I never need you, but you never know.
I appreciate that, man. Take care. You have a good one.
All right, brother.
All right, y'all. We out, right?
Yeah. Where's R&B? That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was some good content right there.
Yeah, it was good content.
That's
I am here.
There you go, baby. I don't know how to shut this shit down.
Okay, I'll end
Close it
it.
out.
Are you done? You done?
I guess we done, unless Loose Cannon gonna do some backflips and could saw down the tree.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming out.
Yo, look, 600. Where you find this motherfucker, man?
that nigga Lou. That nigga came up here talking about bitch ass
Yo,
nigga,
when he
snitch
said
ass.
Sweetie the
I'm
first
like,
time,
God
I'm
damn,
like,
let him talk.
You called the man
Fuck
sweetheart.
that shit.
Oh, you called the lawyer sweetheart.
You call him
Yeah,
sweetheart.
no.
the fuck you call a lawyer sweetheart for?
Because this nigga be on some sweetie pie shit. Like, fuck that. Answer that shit straight.
Yo, man. Yo. All right, R&B, go ahead and close us out, baby.
Okay. God bless you. Thank you for coming out. Good night, Russell Simmons.
Clip, subscribe to 100 Show on YouTube.
Let's get
Go
it.
subscribe. We're going to do this a few times a week. We just get started. The Xposers coming to Dash Unlocked. All you ladies in the feds who got told on. All you guys in these small cities on these yards who got told on. We're going to provide it from location or email to send your paperwork into. Our research team will go through it, and we will commence to exposing. That's a fact.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. If you got somebody said you told and you can prove you didn't, send your work in. We will expose to get a reverse. Get that reverse. It go both ways. Go ahead, baby. Take us out. We out. We back to the 100 side of Clubhouse. Y'all know where to find us. We ain't goddamn no mercy. The 100 side of Clubhouse. Let's go.
100.
All right.